we are going to go and look for opportunities to have Congress vote on rescissions and DOGE cuts. We're also not going to take off the table unilateral moves that the president can do to spend less. And you see that working out its way right now, as last week we put forward the first pocket rescission since the 1970s. Interestingly, Jimmy Carter did it, Gerald Ford did it, the GAO. We're not big fans of GAO. They are a quasi-legislative independent entity, again, something that shouldn't exist. But we put that up last week, and we're having a debate on it. It does not need a vote in Congress to have that money at the end of the 45 days just evaporate. So it's very, very important.
White House Budget Chief Russ Vought speaking in Washington yesterday, defending the use of rescissions while blasting the Government Accountability Office. House appropriators are back cutting the GAO's budget by more than 50% in the next fiscal year funding bill. Senate Republicans, meanwhile, are signaling dismay over President Trump's move to advance a $5 billion pocket rescission to avoid a government shutdown this month. There's only 12 legislative days left for Congress to act on this. I want to bring in Montana Congressman Troy Downing. He's a member of House Financial Services. Congressman, good morning to you. And just to kind of add on to that, Senate Majority Whip John Thune, he acknowledged support for cutting some foreign aid, but he criticized the entire process. This is the $5 billion. He wants Congress to handle rescissions through appropriations. Okay. We've also heard from Mike Rounds, Lisa Murkowski, Shelley Moore Capito, excuse me, all of them speaking out about this. What is your position on this?
Well, I think that the president has been really clear that we have a duty to the taxpayer. We need to make sure that we are finding cuts in spending, and that's one of the biggest messages that we hear going back is folks want to see cuts bigger. I mean, our government is bloated. It's spending beyond our means, and this is one of the tools that the president has. And I fully support the president, exploring the tools that he has to start bringing spending back. Obviously, we want things to go through regular order. We want things to go through Congress, but this is one of the things that he has in his pocket to try to start to cut spending. And one of the things I keep getting asked is, how can you find more? And this is one of those mores.
We've asked that question on this program multiple times. At the same time, do you have any concern that by changing the process and kind of going with the rescissions, you're empowering future presidents, no matter what party they're in, to skirt Congress?
Well, as the clip that you played just before that made it really clear, this is we're not reinventing the wheel. This has happened before with other administrations. Again, it's just another tool in the toolbox, and I think that anything that we can do to start getting spending under control is things that we should explore.
All right. Well, Congressman, your bill to unleash coal mining in the Powder River Basin just passed the House. It reverses Biden-era regulations that limit energy production in Montana and northeast Wyoming. Congressman, tell us about this, and congratulations to you. I'm sure you're very happy about this.
Yes, I am. This is great for America, great for our energy dominance agenda, and it's great for my district. One of the things that may not be as obvious is this is, $46 million a year to support, K through 12 education in Montana. So that's meaningful, independent of the jobs it creates, the federal tax base it creates. And, this is one piece of the puzzle in our energy dominance. One of the things that I just want to point out is we talk a lot about the American dream. We talk about, American prosperity. But one of the drivers, access to capital is important, but also having reliable and affordable energy. And the more we can do to make sure that we have reliable, affordable energy, the easier it is for, folks from, individuals to families to small businesses to thrive. And so I'm really happy that we got this done. I think this is good policy, releases 73 years worth of coal, and is one piece of that puzzle in that energy dominance.
Well, and again, you have to ask yourself, with OPEC Plus, wanting to up their production, if they're not just a little bit nervous about the moves that the United States is making to become energy independent. My colleague Todd Pyro's on site. He's got a question for you.
Congressman, great to chat with you. What do you say to those environmentalists who say your bill will help expedite literally the destruction of the environment? Because that question's coming. That complaint is coming if you haven't gotten it already.
I don't subscribe to their basis. I mean, humans are very innovative, and we show, year after year, we are better we improve. We find better systems for extraction, across, from extracting petroleum to mining coal. We find cleaner ways to burn it, to turn that, chemical energy into mechanical energy, into electric energy. And we're going to continue to innovate and find better, cleaner, faster, more efficient ways of doing this. And that's one of the great things. You talk about, energy policy, folks talk about, all of the above energy policy. And if you really allow innovative humans to figure out how to make things cheaper, more efficient, cleaner, they're going to do that. And I think we're on that path. But one other thing that I think gets brushed under the rug a little bit about this is the coal that we're talking about and the coal reserves. We're talking about 30% of the country's coal reserves in this Powder River Basin. It's high BTU, low sulfur. It's fairly clean coal to co-opt the president's description of this. And there's some truth to that. There's having high BTU, low sulfur coal is what you want to be burning. And they're burning, coal all over the world, whether we like it or whether we mine it here or not. And the more that we can offer high BTU, low sulfur coal, the better that is for the environment anyway. But the short answer is we're innovative. We're going to keep finding better processes that are more efficient, cleaner. And I'm not worried about that. I don't subscribe to the basic premise.
Right. And the Chinese aren't worried about the environment. They're the biggest polluter in the the world. There you go. We're actually trying to make it
exactly.
a better
No regulation there at all. They're just going to
Yeah.
keep building and keep throwing whatever they can, and that's going to happen. Don't think that's not going to have some negative effect. So the more we can pull out more efficient, cleaner, high BTU, low sulfur coal, the better we're going to be.
Yeah, nobody talks about that, which I think that's interesting. Before you go, I do want to ask you about this. House Speaker Johnson says that Republicans are moving ahead with plans to hold a national convention before next year's midterm elections. Says it's a done deal. The president floated the idea on Truth Social, writing, "We won every aspect of the presidential election, and based on the great success we're having, are poised to win big in the midterms. I'm thinking of recommending a national convention of the Republican Party just prior to the midterms. Never been done before." Congressman, what's interesting about this move is this brings President Trump into the fold in the midterms on a major platform where he wouldn't have had that platform if because he's not, obviously there's no presidential election this year. Is that, do you think, a kind of a component of all of this to make sure that you and your colleagues keep control of the House?
Well, I think there's a real opportunity for us to keep control of the House because we're delivering. Even though sometimes it gets uncomfortable with the difference of opinion within our conference, we always come together. We keep getting these wins on the board. And I think having this convention allowing us, to continue talking about these wins, I think we have an opportunity to not just maintain, but to grow the majority in the midterms. And I look at what we're doing as a conference, and I look at the other side of the aisle, basically chasing their tails, trying to find a message, trying to find a leader, and they're not really even resonating with a lot of their own voters. But I think having this platform to really amplify the wins and the good things we're doing for the American people. I mean, look at the the tax cuts or what we've done in this reconciliation bill of preventing a 26% average tax cut to a Montana taxpayer. This stuff is meaningful, and having a platform to convey that, I think, is a great opportunity. And I think that actually will help us buck the trend, maintain and possibly grow our majority in the midterms.
All right, Congressman Troy Downing. Congressman, thank you for being here. We've got
always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.